Metroid Bot! There sure are a lot of cool and interesting locations in the Metroid universe. It's the attention to detail and atmosphere of these places that immerses us in the games themselves and makes these places unforgettable. So, who better to count down the top 6 levels, and I'm using that term loosely because everybody knows that Metroid doesn't have levels in Metroid other than me, Chip Roberts. No one. That's who. That's a rhetorical question. I am the resident expert on Metroid. Nobody else. Roll a clip, Eve!
There's gonna be a lot of disappointed viewers.
2 things wrong with that statement. 1, there will never be a lot of viewers. And 2, why would they be disappointed?
No Talon Overworld, no original Brinstar, no Phandrana Drifts.
Well, you're wrong, because I already put Phandrana Drifts in my top 6 snow levels video, and at the risk of spoiling the rest of this video, Eve, I'm going to be talking about the original Brinstar later, so fuck you!
Still, no Talon Overworld.
Bitch, please. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. It's basically Talon Overworld. I know firsthand how boring it is there, which is why I belong in LA.
I don't believe you.
What, you want me to go back to Earth just to show you how lame it is to live in the Pacific Northwest?
No.
I'll be back in a few days after I show you how wrong you are. It's not warm.
This is the most controversial pick of this list. It's Brio Ice from Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. I like it.
As my digital counterpart was so quick to mention earlier,
Oops.
I didn't put Phandrana Drifts on this list, but I did put a level I like even more. It has snow in it. So it's basically the same. Plus, the music is compositionally, stylistically, and instrumentally similar to Phandrana Drifts. For example, Phandrana Drifts has this chord pattern which goes like this. Right? Brio Ice has a real quick little chord pattern that goes like this. Just about once. So that's the same chord with a lot of the same instrumentation happening behind it. So it's a nice little nod to a great level in Metroid history and almost works kind of as a bookend to the series between Prime 1 and Prime 3. Sort of.
And while you're thinking about that, think about this. Everywhere in this game has enemies. Novaria, Brio, Elysia, Pirate Homeworld, Phase, the GFS Valhalla. Every location in this game is covered with enemies who want to kill you, except for this one part. Not only that, but there isn't even anyone else around, and I think that's important. This is what's called contrast, and I'm going to get into that concept later this month. Foreshadowing. But what it does is reinforce that sense of isolation that Metroid is so acclaimed for.
You see, a lot of people didn't like Metroid Prime 3 because they're dumb and felt it was too linear. Because they're dumb.
I mean, we were burning and nerding through this game, kicking ass left and right, killing everybody, and then suddenly you go back to Brio to a secret level behind the wall and go through warp. We've never done that in any Metroid game. Metroid Prime Hunters doesn't count. And what follows is a very disconcerting and strange portion of the game. You stumble into this world shrouded in ice, simply labeled Brio Ice. There are a few expansions and logbook entries, but beyond that, there's nothing here. It's this bizarre feeling of serenity mixed with apprehensive anticipation, like something could pop out at any minute. Samus gets hailed a few times by a mysterious, indiscernible voice, and the tension rises. You get the feeling that anything could go wrong, like something lurks around the corner.
And the beautiful part about that is that nothing does. It's tension without the payoff, and I think there's something to be said for that.
When I sat down to write this list, I thought I should put the ancient Chozo ruins from Metroid Prime on here. You know, the ones where you go up the spider ball track and end up in a forgotten, overgrown area of the ruins.
There's something mysterious and ominous. Wait, are mysterious and ominous the same thing?
The music changes as you're trapped into a place that time forgot, where Chozo ghosts roam. And that's exactly why I didn't put it on this list, because of the damn Chozo ghosts.
So keeping with the Chozo theme, I put the ancient Chozo city from Metroid 2. I'm pretty sure it's just called Area 5 or 6 or 7, but I prefer ancient Chozo city. You know what, why don't we just make it SR388? Number 5 is SR388.
I like this game because it's what I like to call minimalist, and if we describe it with the dictionary definition, it refers to a school of abstract painting and sculpture that emphasizes extreme simplification of form as by the use of basic shapes and monochromatic palettes of primary colors, objectivity, and anonymity of style.
See Metroid 2 Return of Samus. That last part was kind of weird.
It's simple, and I like that. There's not a whole lot of detail, so it leaves it up to your imagination to fill in the empty space. And there sure is a lot of empty space. But where it shines is those brief moments of detail, like this little lake at the bottom of this cave. What other games have that? Or this part where you go through an ancient hallway with a flamethrower drone defending it, then go down an ancient pipe to this old water reserve and fight an alpha What's that? That's a different part? Well, fuck it. I like SR388 and I like Metroid too. I don't give a shit.
And SR388 has my favorite music from any video game ever. Hit it!
Back in the olden days of the 90s, before Nintendo ruined Super Smash Bros. By not adding Dark Samus as a playable character. Wait, where was I going with this?
This one may seem like a little bit of a stretch because it's not from an official Metroid game, but fuck it! This is my show, I do whatever the fuck I want, I don't give a fuck! You don't like it? PewDiePie's over that way. Wait, no.
Put yourself back in another place in time, in the past. A time where there were only 3 Metroid games and Nintendo was still a reputable game company.
What's that? You say that neither such time nor place ever existed? Well, either you're too young to remember that time, or you're an idiot. And if the first part is true, then are you even old enough to be watching this show? I mean, I kind of say fuck a lot and talk about things like penises and vaginas and having sex and fucking awesome titties. If the second part is true, PewDiePie's over that way. Wait, no.
Planet Zebes from Super Smash Bros. 64, as we've started to call it, just takes me back to another place in time. That golden age of gaming that all of us old dudes remember, before the Nintendo Wii came and ruined everything. It's hard to believe that back when the original Super Smash Bros. Came out, there were only 3 Metroid games, but that just added to the charm.
It gave HAL Laboratories more freedom to take creative liberties with the characters and level design, and it gave us, the players, some of those same liberties. The great scrolls of the Metroid universe were still relatively unwritten, and we came up with ideas in our head of how the universe worked, what the characters were like, what else encompassed this blank slate. Maybe I'm the weird one.
That's not a maybe.
But I wanted to put this level on the list because it does take place in the Metroid universe, technically, but it just makes me nostalgic for that time in history. So much so that I decided to do a very special rendition of it for Metroid Medley 3 Super Medley, which you can see right over there.
I also like how Wavers and Ridley fly past every now and then, and I like this random platform on the right side of the screen, and I like the bubbles from Norfair. It's doubly exciting because I got to see the inspirations for this level when I finally did play the Metroid series, and seeing where it came from was a truly magical experience. Then this happened!